To all the lost angels out there. Part 1. The Grove. 1. Stilwell could hear the plane, but couldn't see it. The moon and stars were behind cloud cover, and the plane was no doubt running without lights as it circled above the island. The radio crackled, and Quigley's voice came through. "Boss, you hear that?" Stilwell brought his rover up to his mouth and keyed his two-way. "Affirmative," he said. "Hold your position. Be ready." He stopped looking up at the sky and used the binoculars to look down from his position toward Airport Road. He picked up an approaching vehicle, also running without lights, as it ascended to the mountaintop airstrip. He keyed the two-way again. "Ground vehicle on approach," he said. "No lights." "Copy," Quigley said. It was an ATV. It entered through the open gate and drove directly out to the airstrip. It sped down to the runway's threshold, turned around, and backed into the brush. Then its lights came on, high beams from the front of the ATV and a powerful set of halogens across the top of its roll bar. The first third of the 1,800-foot runway was sufficiently lit for the plane circling above. Stilwell went back to the radio. "Okay, we go as planned," he said. "Move on my call." "Copy that," Quigley said. This would be Alton Quigley's first test. He was 2 months new to the island, and Stilwell didn't know what he had in him yet. But he believed that pairing him with Ilsa Ramirez was the right move. She was Stilwell's most dependable deputy, something he could not have said a year ago. But now, after almost 2 years under Stilwell's command, Ramirez had turned into a solid member of the Catalina substation's team. The drone of the plane's single engine grew louder, and Stilwell knew the pilot was bringing it down. He felt his pulse quicken with anticipation and the electric sense of possible danger. Quigley and Ramirez were in an SUV parked in the shadows at the rear of an open hangar, out of sight from the air. Stilwell was in an unmarked hardtop ATV parked next to an equipment shed. There was nobody else. There hadn't been time. The tip came in too late to recruit backup from the mainland. He had to make do with what he had while also keeping one deputy on post in Avalon, should the tip be an effort to draw all law enforcement away from the town. The plane's engine throttled back as it floated down out of the dark sky to the partially lit runway. It landed softly, a testament to the pilot's skill, and coasted toward the southern terminus of the airfield. The ATV pulled out of the brush behind it and followed it down the strip, its lights still blazing. "Should we go?" Quigley said over the radio. Stilwell shook his head in annoyance. Quigley was so hyped on adrenaline that he had either forgotten or was ignoring the plan. "No," Stilwell radioed back. "Stick to the plan, deputy. We need to see the drop first." Stilwell had the binoculars to his eyes, watching what played out in the lights of the ATV on the airstrip. The plane had turned around at the terminus and was now in position to take off again. The pilot did not kill the engine. The plan was obviously to spend as little time on the ground as possible. The cockpit door opened, and an orange duffel bag was dropped to the tarmac. Someone wearing a black safety helmet with a smoked face shield got out of the ATV and approached the plane, staying clear of the still spinning prop. The man in the helmet came in under the overhead wing and grabbed the duffel bag. Stilwell keyed the mic. "Okay, go," he said. "Block that plane." Stilwell pinned the pedal down, and the electric ATV leaped from its position by the shed blind, and soon he was racing toward the lights on the airstrip. He could see the deputy's SUV break from the hangar with its lights flashing. It moved down the center of the runway, making it impossible for the plane to take off. Stilwell saw the man in the helmet drop the duffel bag and sprint back to his ATV. He then did something Stilwell had not expected when he had hastily drawn up plans for the surveillance. He drove the ATV off the airstrip and into the brush that ran down the side of the mountain. As the ATV plowed